Can people living with diabetes eat fruit? The simple answer, yes, and they should. People living with type 1 and type 2 diabetes often hear a common misconception that they shouldn't eat fruit. However, fruits do not worsen your risk of type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and they can actually help reverse the underlying cause of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. In this video, you'll learn the real causes of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. You'll learn the specific cases where you should be smart about your fruit consumption, and you'll discover why you should add fruit to your diet, whatever type of diabetes you're living with. Wouldn't you love to learn how to eat foods that taste like candy but improve your overall health? And wouldn't you love to do that all at the same time as much as you want? Then keep watching. My name is Robby Barbaro. I'm a New York Times bestselling author, and I've been living with type 1 diabetes for over 23 years. Together with my co-founder Cyrus Kambata, we've been coaching people to reverse insulin resistance for decades using a simple evidence-based approach. These guidelines, they're easy to understand and they're fun to implement. The complications of prediabetes and type 2 diabetes and many of the complications of type 1 diabetes originate from an underlying condition called insulin resistance. Insulin resistance results from the accumulation of excess dietary fat in cells that are not designed to store large quantities of fat, which in turn inhibits the action of insulin. Insulin resistance in your liver and muscle inhibits glucose uptake from your blood to both tissues, resulting in high blood glucose. So while high blood glucose is responsible for the complications of diabetes, it is not the underlying cause. Insulin resistance is. And if you reverse insulin resistance by reducing dietary fat, not dietary carbohydrates, you can reverse diabetes complications in the vast majority of cases. So are the carbs in fruit bad for you? No, they're not. The natural carbohydrates in fruit are carbohydrates that come pre-packaged with fiber and micronutrients, which take a long time to digest and absorb, providing a steady uptake of glucose into your tissues. These natural carbohydrates are often confused with added sugars like fructose and artificial sweeteners, when in reality, they're very different. Since these artificial sweeteners lack a high nutrient and fiber content, they're broken down quickly and absorbed directly into your blood. This is what can spike your blood glucose and present a dangerous risk to people with type 1 and type 2 diabetes, which is why experts like the American Diabetes Association recommend avoiding added sugars whenever you can. Now, fruits packed with a high density of carbohydrates can spike your blood glucose, just like any other high nutrient food. So if you're having a very hard time controlling your blood glucose, we recommend eating fruit with greens and or non-starchy vegetables. In the long term, fruits can be the foundation of a high energy, easily manageable diabetes diet and include numerous health benefits. So let's talk about those health benefits. For those living with a very high degree of insulin resistance, some fruits can make it challenging to stay in range after a fruit-based meal. But this is only at first, and greens can help you now, and non-starchy vegetables can help you now, and eating slowly helps, and moving your body. Just know that you are in control and you can take steps to enjoy fruit right now. As you adapt to a higher percentage of fruits, along with other plants and whole foods, these natural sources of sugars can be the foundation of a diet with many long-term health benefits and easy to control blood glucose levels. So let's get into it. First, fruits have a lower risk of pretty much all complications. In most cases, fruits are something you can eat ad libitum, or as much as you want with no risk of long-term chronic disease. In fact, the research shows that they improve your long-term health, including as a method of diabetes management and weight loss treatment for obesity. These results have been proven time and time again and have also been shown to reduce your risk for a number of different conditions. This isn't true for meats and processed foods, which can increase your risk for heart disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, cancer, and all-cause mortality. Fruits are also great for your blood glucose levels. As we mentioned above, fruits provide a steady and consistent source of energy that your liver, muscles, and brain process over a longer period of time than added sugars. In the long run, this makes it easier to manage your blood glucose and maintain a good time in range because the increase and decrease will happen over a longer, more steady period of time. And all of these health benefits are without even getting into the specific nutrient values of different fruits. Obviously, every fruit is different, from the super powerful amla berry that doesn't taste so good to the delicious mangoes that people all over the world enjoy on a regular basis. However, most fruits have a few things in common. They're incredibly high in antioxidants and vitamin C, which helps reduce oxidative stress and improve your immunity and overall health. They're packed with key minerals like potassium, iron, and a whole range of other key vitamins. Fruits have a high fiber content, which has been proven in multiple studies to improve your overall health and reduce your risk for disease. Quite a few benefits of fruit, right? You can see why we're so supportive of these amazing plants. Now let's get into some of the reasons that people are uncertain about fruit, along with some of the best and worst fruits for people with diabetes. Another slightly misunderstood reference that turns some people away from fruit is the glycemic index, which measures how much it will raise your blood glucose levels after eating it. With only one exception, all fruits are either low or medium on the glycemic index. The only exception is watermelon, and even that is very close to fitting into the medium category. Even delectably sweet fruits such as bananas, dates, apples, grapes, mamey sapote, sapodillas, papayas, and pineapples are considered low glycemic fruits. The sweetness of a fruit is not a reliable indicator of its glycemic index or natural sugar content. It's important to note that the glycemic index is not the final detriment of whether a food is beneficial or detrimental for people living with any form of diabetes. The glycemic index is simply a proxy for whether a food is likely to be a whole food or a processed food. Exceptions like watermelons and potatoes are indeed nutrient-dense whole foods, but they are high on the glycemic index and are still beneficial for people living with diabetes. Foods that are high on the glycemic index are generally highly processed foods like bread, breakfast cereals, instant oatmeal, white rice, bagels, pancakes, waffles, biscuits, cookies, cakes, pies, and candies. And we recommend minimizing or avoiding these foods completely. Although the majority of low-fat, plant-based whole foods are low on the glycemic index, there are many foods we don't recommend that are also low on the glycemic index, such as ice cream, cheese crackers, high-fat bakery products, hamburgers, French fries, pizza, and corn chips. So with that in mind, our recommendations for the best fruits are pretty simple. As long as they're natural, whole foods, eat them as much as you want in as large quantities as you want. Whole fruit, fresh fruits, high fiber fruits like apples and bananas, blackberries, grapefruit, kiwi, dragon fruit, whatever you like. Actually, leave a comment here about your favorite fruits to eat, or leave a comment about any fruit that has notoriously raised your blood glucose levels. We'd love to hear what you're experiencing. Now, if you have severe insulin resistance or struggle with fluctuating blood glucose, we recommend eating your fruit strategically. This means it's very important to execute a few key tips. Tip number 1, if you inject fast-acting insulin, you must pay attention to insulin timing. Tip number 2, eat fruit with greens and or non-starchy vegetables. Tip number 3, eat your meals slowly. Tip number 4, chew your food thoroughly. Tip number 5, walk after your meals. Once you have gained a significant amount of insulin sensitivity, then some of these tips will become less important in order to reduce blood glucose spikes. But they'll always be beneficial, so consider them new habits to integrate into your new long-term sustainable lifestyle. Now, as we say that, are there any fruits people with diabetes should avoid? Well, not really, since the problem for people with diabetes isn't the fruits themselves. Instead, the problem is what is added to those fruits. Some things are advertised as fruits, but are actually full of processed sugars and chemicals, and we recommend avoiding these whenever possible. For example, be wary of canned fruit, fruit juice, dried fruit, processed fruit, fruit flavored foods. In any serving size, these foods tend to be closer to candies than whole foods and run counter to the health benefits of fruit in the first place. If you have any questions about any specific fruit, leave a comment below. So what's the bottom line? For almost everyone, fruit is an incredibly healthy food that can be the foundation of any meal plan. And that's whether you're looking to simply reach or maintain a healthy weight or aiming for a more comprehensive strategy to diabetes management. But if you're currently having a hard time keeping your blood glucose in a healthy range, it's a wake-up call to start taking action and truly reverse insulin resistance. It's time to start implementing the tips covered in this video. If you'd like to learn more about how to use fruit as well as a low-fat, plant-based whole food diet to manage and potentially reverse type 2 diabetes, explore our weekly meal plan. You'll discover how to eat a wide variety of dishes containing delicious fruit while keeping your blood glucose in range as much as possible. And if you want some great examples, you can check out our video on 7 fruits that are great for people with diabetes.